Nobody wants you to feel sorry or give sympathy to those with people with disabilities.
It's sitting pretty, baby.
What is up, y'all? It's your girl Lolo, and we've got another message to my loves. I know it's been a minute since we've been able to do one of these videos, but I'm so glad that we are bringing this back because we have a great question this time from Hollywood on Wheels. And they say, what are your thoughts on compassion versus sympathy in the disability community? I love when y'all ask me great questions like this. My thoughts on the difference between compassion versus sympathy is pretty simple. I am going to assume that this question was from the perspective of dealing with people who are allies or friends and families of those with disabilities, right? Because traditionally, people with disabilities, how we treat each other within the community is like we would treat anyone else, like people. We understand each other's circumstances most of the time. It's usually those who aren't people with disabilities who tend to be a little bit more over the top when interacting with us. They believe that they are showing compassion to those with disabilities when essentially they're giving sympathy, which nobody wants. Nobody wants you to feel sorry or give sympathy to those with people with disabilities. What we want you to do instead is give empathy. So the difference between the two, which a lot of people don't realize is the difference, but this is like basic in high school English. When you can have empathy for someone, it is because you have found a way to relate to the person's humanity, to better understand, to better engage with someone because you found something within your life that you can either relate to or tap into because you've experienced something maybe similar, or you're just a decent human being and you can have a better understanding of someone's particular situation. Versus when you give sympathy to someone, when you are just mindlessly feeling sorry for somebody because you've created a narrative that has no basis of your actual life or your experiences. You've just created something in your head of what you think a situation might be like or how it would be experienced. So that's why having sympathy for people with disabilities is incredibly dangerous in many ways, because you are treating us based on a false fantasy, or what we like to say, inspiration porn for your life, without truly trying to understand the humanity of who we are and how we are experiencing life, and figuring out how you can tap into our worlds based on what you have experienced. What makes it even more troubling, people who are giving sympathy are misusing their actions and their feelings and calling it compassion, because you're not being compassionate at all. Compassion is being able to say, hey, I feel like I can understand it because of X, Y, and Z. So I have compassion for those based on my experiences or just me having a good damn heart. But I'm not trying to be compassionate to make myself feel better. I feel like people need to be very mindful when interacting with people with disabilities and being aware of themselves and how they are responding to those with disabilities, and really being able to look into themselves and be like, am I trying to relate to this person because I too can empathize with something that they're going through or that they've gone through or something that they've shared with me, first and foremost, versus being sympathetic to a situation I know nothing about, I don't want to know nothing about, I don't care to know nothing about, but I feel like I'm being a good person by giving sympathy to this person and what they're going through. Does that make sense? I hope it does, but that's my thoughts on it. People, please be way more aware of what you're doing and how you're doing it and how you're interacting with people with disabilities. And remember that we are people first. So if you have any thoughts on this topic, please go ahead and leave a comment. Until next time, it's Sitting Pretty, baby. Peace.